Welcome back to Cottage Designs by Erin, where today we're going to be sewing sister dresses for the 10.5-inch and 8-inch dolls. They could also be mother-daughter dresses. So for the 10.5-inch, which is the Little Miss Revlon, we are using Simplicity Pattern 3522. And for the 8-inch Ginny doll, we are using Simplicity Pattern 3576. Okay, moving the camera to my hands now. So you're going to, of course, cut your bodice out on the fold. I've already sewn this together at the shoulder seams. This is for the Little Miss Revlon. We are using a vintage matching gingham for both dolls. We are now going to press our seams open on the bodice. I only had enough fabric to make a matching pair of dresses. This is the last of this material. Okay, then you want to look at your bodices and figure out which piece should go on the front. This piece looks pretty good. If we use this piece, nothing will get chopped off. If we use this piece, the roses at the neck will get chopped off right here. So I'm going to use this for the lining. You know, some women don't pay attention to that. And there's a seller in particular on Etsy. She makes beautiful doll clothes, but she does not pay attention. And a lot of times, say the dress has, especially on little 8-inch dresses, if you mess up the pattern, it's very noticeable. Say that the dress has a little whale on it. She'll chop the whale's head off or the tail or something. You won't be able to see all the design. And people that don't sew, I guess, don't know that, and they don't pay attention to it, and they buy it anyway. I'm like, what the heck? She chopped the pattern off. I am really hoarse today. I don't know. I don't know if I have a little cold or if it's seasonal allergies. The pollen has been pretty rough. Okay, now we're going to take this and we're going to sew up the back and around the neck and down the other side. Using a straight stitch number 2. The pattern shifted on me here. I'm going to have to do a little fixing on that. Well, not only that, it looks like this piece doesn't have as long of a back piece as this one does. So that's not good. Okay, so we're picking up from there. I sewed around the neck. I'm now going to sew the sleeves. Okay, we're going to flip it inside out. Okay, we are now going to fold the sleeves down. See a little spot I missed here. Let me repair that. Okay, now we're going to fold the bodice and the sleeves down here. And you're only going to match up the end of the sleeve. You're not matching up the end of the bodice. We are now going to cut in, and we're going to sew from the corner of the sleeve down, which will give us a nice tapered fit without the use of darts. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, where you have this excess on the outside of the seam, you're going to cut that off. So here's our little bodice on our doll. Now we're going to hem the skirt. Okay, we are going to bring the skirt pieces right sides together with your hem facing on the outside, and you're going to sew up the back, leaving enough room for the doll to get in. Now we're going to take the skirt and press the seam open up the back. We're now going to sew down one side of the seam, across, and up the other side. Next, we're going to find the center of our skirt and put a pin in it. Looks like it's right here. Now we're going to shear up the skirt. You want to move your stitch, all the stitch length over to the largest one. Okay, now we are going to remove one stitch so that we can shear this up to the pin. Now we're going to shear the other side. Okay, so the skirt will look nice and full like this. You're going to take your bodice, have it facing towards you, and you're going to put it up inside the skirt. You want the end of the bodice to match the end of the skirt. If it doesn't, pull it a little tighter. Pull the shirring a little tighter. Okay, we're now going to sew around the top of the skirt, going back to straight stitch number 2. Oh, I'm covered in thread. Take our pins out. Okay, we're now going to tidy up the inside of this. Okay, you can now take all your pins out and flip it inside out. I go back over this edge. I feel like it's a little loose. So if you're wondering what I'm doing, I was checking to see that all of the edges got caught in the seam allowance. And it did now. So let's go ahead and put our doll in. I always sew the snaps on last before I mill them. So I'm not putting the snaps on at the moment. We're just going to pin her shut. Okay, so Big Sister is done. Let me set up a little bit. Okay, so now we are going to work on the little sister's dress. So her dress is going to be made the same way, except that the pieces are much smaller. We're going to start with the bodice. And lay the matching on top. I'm going to sew up and around the back. We're now going to clip into the seam allowance so that we flip it inside out. It will lay down nice and flat. You want to make sure you don't clip the actual seams, just notch it up to the seam. We're going to flip it inside out. Okay, now we're going to press this little itty bitty tiny piece. We're now going to fold the bodice towards us. And this is how we make the sleeve bands. Wait a minute, I forgot a step. I forgot to sew across the sleeve. Now let's flip it inside out. Okay, now we're going to fold it down. And we're going to sew this little thumbnail rim right here. We're going to sew that, which will make the sleeve and the waist. Okay, let me grab my little girl here. Okay, so we've got her bodice. Now we're going to press down the hems on the panties. So you're going to press the elastic waistband down. It's where you're going to put the elastic, I should say. And then you're also going to press under the seam allowance for the panties. Okay, so we are going to zigzag stitch around the legs. You always do the legs first because you don't want to draw the panty up to where you can't get the elastic on. Okay, now I am going to have to get up for 1 minute to get a piece of elastic. Okay. We now need a piece of 3.5 inch long elastic. You're going to take your elastic and hold it down with your waistband, flush against the waistband, and you're going to zigzag stitch that on. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to get a drink. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do that. You're going to pull the elastic as you go to make it fit the panties. That gives you this. So now you're going to fold the panty seams together, and we're going to stitch in about 1/2 inch up the back on a straight stitch. And I backstitch at the top and the bottom to try to secure it. Next, you're going to fold this open, finger press the seam, and now you're going to match the notch of the front of the panty with the, I'm saying the V of the front of the panty with the V of the back of the panty. We're going to sew across, which makes this the crotch. Now you're going to cut off the little points that hang out so that they don't rub on the doll's legs. When you flip them inside out, we now have the panty, and they are about 2 inches across. Next, we're going to press under the hem of the skirt. I did not put any lace on this outfit right now. It's kind of, the print is kind of busy, but it is very beautiful. It doesn't really need much else. I'm just going to put sashes, and I'll probably put a little rosette at the waist. Little matching straw hats would be cute if I have them. I didn't get this straight right here. I need to fix this little section. I apologize for the noise. I don't know, my neighbor's having something done out there. Okay, so now we're going to hem the skirt. We're now going to bring the back edges of the skirt together and sew up the back, leaving enough room for the doll to get in. Again, we have to press the back seam open. We're going to sew up this side of the skirt across and up the other side. And I can promise you in real life, these dresses are not made quickly. It's just because I've made so many of them that I know the steps. We are now going to find the center of the skirt and put our pin in and start shearing the skirt up. I can usually tell where it's at because it's been lightly pressed into the fabric. Okay, we are now going to shear up the skirt on the largest stitch length. We're going to pick out one stitch or two and start shearing up to the pin. We're going to shear halfway to the pin on one side and then halfway to the pin on the other side. Okay, this is what our skirt looks like once we've sheared it up. We're now going to take the bodice facing you and stick it up inside the skirt and then smooth your gathers. So what I'm doing with my fingers is I'm spreading the gathers out to get them even from the waistband to the back of the dress, back of the bodice. You want the back of the bodice to match the back of the dress. And then smooth your gathers to make sure they each have their own little spot on the waistband. Okay, now we're going to sew all the way around the top of the dress. Using a straight stitch number 2. I don't feel you want to make sure you can feel the skirt, because you have to make sure that it is actually being attached to the bodice. I don't remember this fabric being so stringy, but it sure enough is. Okay, now then, again, we're going to pull all these strings forward, and then we're going to chop them all off and clean this up. In case you haven't heard my comment in my other videos, I do have pinking shears, but I don't use them because they hurt my hands, because I already have some arthritis in my hands, and using those big heavy shears gives me tremendous pain in my hands. Okay, we're going to take our pins out. I still miss some little strings. Let me try to do a better job with this. Okay, here's our long gathering thread we need to cut. Okay, we flip it out. Flipping them inside out is so satisfying. It looks like a little cupcake. And once you flip it, which is hence the reason they call these cupcake dresses. Okay, so now let me try this on her. And clearly she's going to need a sash and a hair ribbon. I might even make a matching purses if I have any fabric that matches. I don't know if I do. Felt, I'm saying. I did get that on her good. Okay, let's put the little panties on her. Poor little baby was pantyless. Okay, so here are the panties. Here's our little dress, which of course can benefit from a sash. And then here's our, whoop, she fell off her stand. Here's our sister dress. And they're not looking, you know, it's hard. You have to really perfect them. You have to put the sash on and take a good picture. Right now, you can just see that once I fluff these and get petticoats and all that, fix their hair, they will look darling. So I hope you learned something from my video today. Again, these are Simplicity Pattern 3522 for Little Miss Revlon and Simplicity Pattern 3576 for the 8-inch Ginny doll. Please like and subscribe. Please leave comments. I'm trying to get my channel off the ground. And so if you like my videos and you leave a comment, it helps me out tremendously. Thank you for watching.